Hello, in this video I will talk about CRUD, CRUD inside of QuickAdminPanel. CRUD stands for Create, Read, Update, and Delete. And it's kind of a one menu item or one model or one database table. While generating CRUD, you're actually generating the full suite of files, set of files related to one database table and one model. And in this video I will show you what exactly is generated. So let's create one CRUD, for example, companies. It automatically generates the menu title. You can set more options, but for now we stick to defaults, and let's add one new field, and just company name. We click save and then save CRUD. And form is being processed and files are being generated, and let's see what have been generated, exactly what files, how do they work. To do that, we click view code, and let's see. Let's start with the model. Laravel Eloquent model is kind of the core thing what it does. So company model has been created exactly in singular form. It uses soft deletes, companies, basically a few Eloquent properties, which is not very complicated. Then database migration with that. So let's go to database migrations, and there is migration create companies. So these are the fields exactly what we created. So IDs and timestamps are by default, and this is what we've created, string name. So that's a model and database migration. Then we get to routes. So routes web, here we go. It should generate two routes. Inside of the route group for admin panel, it generates these two. So route resource for the controller, I will get to that in a second, and also route delete for one specific delete functionality. So in the table, if you click check boxes, you can delete multiple records. So this is a separate route delete, and keep in mind it comes before the resource, because if you put it afterwards, then the resource will be overriding that. So let's get to controller now. So company's controller should be here. In company's controller, it's a typical resource controller, default Laravel, with some checks basically. Index, create, store, edit, update, show, and destroy. So 7 methods are typical default Laravel. And if you run PHP Artisan make controller -- resource, this is exactly what it would generate, 7 methods. They would be empty. In our case, we have roles and permissions, check in every method, companies, like get the data and then view the file, view the blade. How roles and permissions work, you can watch a separate video on those. In this video, I will just run through what files have been generated. So this is a controller. Inside of controller for validation, we have requests. So we have two requests, store company request and update company request. And they are in HTTP requests here. So store company request, and it's empty because we didn't specify any fields to be required or unique. If you have fields with validation rules, they will be here. Also, we generate API. So API controller, it's company API controller, also really similar, but instead of showing forms, it uses API resources to basically get the data or post the data. And with that, there are resources here. Resources, company resource is just a simple typical Laravel API resource. And for API, also we need to look at routes API. Routes API looks like that. It's API resource. It's a separate API resource. It's not only route resource, it's a route API resource, which means that it doesn't contain the form. So create form and edit form is not in the list. Finally, we get to blade files. So in resource views admin folder, every CRUD is one folder with 4 files. Index is the list with the table, and there are some, at the bottom you see some data tables logic. Here, for example, data table company and confirmation, so some JavaScript at the bottom. And then we have create blade, which is a form, same as edit blade, also really similar. And show blade is here, so just getting all the data, putting that into some kind of table. So these are default typical files that have been generated with every CRUD. If your CRUD has some modules installed, some settings, like in here, you can go to edit the CRUD, and there are some checkboxes which depend on the modules you have installed. There could be import CSV, there could be multi-tenancy, there could be more checkboxes, or API could be disabled. So with that, more files are generated, but for that, please watch separate videos on specific topics like file uploads, like multi-tenancy, like CSV import, and all of that. But typically, these are the CRUD files which we generate and allow you to download.